So, hello everyone. Welcome to the next instalment of AI in Insurance. I'm today welcomed by Elliott Green, who is Sales Director at FintechOS. So, I'll let Elliott do his own intro and a bit of overview of his business, the business, in a moment. But I suppose firstly, thank him for coming on the show and also to have an avid runner and I think the most self-made in the insurance industry on the session. So yeah, Elliot, thank you, and yeah, maybe kind of give a piece for yourself to start with.
Well, thank you very much for that introduction. Yeah, a lot of selfies taken by me. So I try and claim the most photographed man in insurtech, but they are all selfies. So you're probably bang on the money there. But yes, I work for FintechOS. I'm sales director within insurance. FintechOS being a technology company within financial services. So we do banking systems and we also do insurance systems, which is obviously the part of the business that I specialize in. We provide an end-to-end platform for insurance, quoting, policies, as well as end-to-end claims. So, claims notification, payments, all that kind of stuff. And we also have what I consider to be insurtech's best product engine, okay, to build insurance products for our customers, which has some AI in it. So I'm hoping, I can give you some experience from that, how we're using that today, and it's relevant to your listeners. So thanks a lot for having me, Danny.
Good, good. So maybe let's kind of jump into that a little bit. So obviously, the adoption of AI and AI being quite a broad topic within the insurance has many different guises, many different applications. Obviously, given the work that FinTech OS do from a product perspective, maybe kind of share a little bit about what you're seeing by means of trends, customer need. That'd probably be a good place to start, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, our product engine is kind of the jewel in the crown for us in terms of we consider we build products within there better than anyone else, obviously through no code, and we've now incorporated an AI natural language processing interface. So what our customers were saying was even though you're amazing at building products, or we can build products using your platform, uh, can we, is there a way that we could expedite this even further? Could we make it more efficient? So what we've done is we've put, like I say, a natural language process interface where they can just basically say, okay, I want to have a home product, right? I want a home insurance product. And you just write that as same as you would on ChatGPT. It'll ask a number of follow-up questions. What coverages do you want? What limits? Any special items, endorsements, stuff like that. And then we will generate a what we call a kind of template for them. So basically, we will generate a generic home product based on what they've asked for immediately. So within then a few seconds, basically, within a minute, we will have generated a kind of generic home insurance product based on the information they've given us. At that point, then they can go on and obviously configure specific things that we can't necessarily generate through AI. So we're doing that to really give them a very quick start in terms of, okay, I've got a new product that I want to get to market. How do I generate that quickly? And then they can go in and obviously do their own configuration over the top. So it means, for new products to market, for trying to react to market trends, things like that, then our customers have a real advantage by using that.
So in those kind of ideation sessions and getting the input from your customers to maybe then um, iterate and drive a roadmap around that customer need. What were some of the driving points? Sounds like probably a bit about productivity. How can their people do things faster, but actually equally around new opportunities for revenue getting to market faster?
Yeah, so we have a very kind of broad and diverse customer range with over fifty customers globally. So, and our real selling point to them is, look, the flexibility here in terms of building products and launching them is the key point for us, and we wanted to make that even better for our customers. So some of our customers who are large insurers, kind of selling niche products on our platform, that's obviously a really key driver for them. Going, well, actually, we're already selling pet insurance, but now we want to sell travel and
Mhm.
stuff like that. And can we launch it quickly and make changes to it, as well as a number of SME insurers where they're saying, okay, we already do, professional indemnity, but now we want to do some other liability stuff. Can we generate these things quickly? And there's a degree of test and learn in the market as well. Is if you can spin up something very quickly, then you can launch it to the market quickly. You can then start to get obviously your analytics around that and start to go, okay, is this working? Should I change this, that? And have that kind of test and learn approach to building a product portfolio from scratch. So that was some of the driving forces that was coming from our customers that meant that we decided to put this together and put it into the architecture for customers to use.
And it sounded like they had a problem, and AI was a or one solution in order to deliver that outcome. Are they coming to you asking for, look, AI is strategically important. What do you do? I suppose the question is, do you see them leading more with the problem opportunity base of which AI can help, or actually are they looking to see what AI tools are out there that they can benefit from?
I think there's not like one answer to this as such. What I would say is, from a new business perspective, where I'm involved in a lot of kind of new RFPs, and obviously, making proposals for new customers. There's an area now within, a response for that that they ask for. Okay, what are you doing in AI? How are you developing things in AI, which potentially wasn't there like 1 or 2 years ago. There's obviously an interest about it. Every event I go to, someone's doing something in AI, in one guise or another, whether it's actually real or they just like to say that for marketing purposes, is I think you can make your own decisions on that. So from a kind of existing customer base, I think they have pockets of AI in the company, probably usually siloed off somewhere else to like experiment. Lots of people seem to have kind of innovation or experimental teams these days, but from a core platform that we obviously provide perspective, we're not getting a huge amount of ask from our existing customers, but it's something that's definitely coming up from a new business point of view. I think people obviously go, well, actually, I'm going to replace my existing architecture. And as part of that, I want to make sure that I'm future proofing and AI. I think people can broadly agree that AI is the future. And so we need to make sure that the platform is either geared to use AI and integrate to platforms like yourself and bring in additional AI capabilities, which is what we do for a number of different things, but also looking at real world examples of how you can use AI in a real way that gets benefit within the platform itself as well.
And maybe also a difficult question to answer, but I think what's your thoughts on the knowledge awareness that people have around what can be achieved? You kind of mentioned events, and there's AI in a variety of different guises. There's people talking about a wide variety of use cases, but over the last 12 months, do you think the people are becoming more aware about what the applications are? Do you think actually they're still at the initial stepping stones of learning the art of the possible? What's your thoughts there?
I think you can't really go anywhere without tripping over some kind of AI. I actually created my own action figure using
Oh, you're
ChatGPT
one of
this
those, yeah.
morning. Yeah, mine was a disaster though, so I'm not sure if I'm using it wrong. Whether I don't know but mine did not come out well. I still posted it. You'll have to go on LinkedIn and have a look. It was not like everyone else who's posted theirs. Mine was quite different, but there you go. So look, you can't go anywhere without, we do some of our RFP responses. Kind of the basic start to that is using an AI application to fill in answers, obviously, that we've had before. So I think everyone's using it in one guise or another. And I think the problem I see in that is now I think all tech companies feel like they have to have AI, or be mentioning AI with that. Otherwise, they're falling behind. And I think at that point, so there's definitely been other tech vendors out there where I've dug into, okay, what are you actually doing in AI? When you get into it, it's not really AI, but obviously they're using that, like I say, from a marketing point of view because they feel they have to.
Hmm.
So look, I think awareness is growing, and I think that's been hugely accelerated over the past 12 months. I don't think I was really coming across anywhere near as much as I am today 12 months ago. And as that obviously grows and people's interest grows and people are using things like ChatGPT more and more, obviously the requirements to, okay, well, how can we use this in our actual architecture? And there's an argument to be said when it gets more advanced that the kind of tech potentially becomes less of a concern. Changing your tech platform becomes less of a concern because you could layer AI over the top and get so many efficiencies from that, why throw out your existing legacy tech when you can use AI to kind of modernize the whole thing around it? So hopefully we don't get there anytime soon, because that will really make me struggle selling new platforms to people. But obviously that's an area that people are already looking at and thinking about.
And I suppose part of their other considerations, obviously, we operate within regulated industries. What we provide to people that operate within regulated industries. As part of those, you mentioned things like RFPs and what people are asking for. Is the compliance side of things coming through as part of that as well in what you're seeing?
Also, I do see, and we don't do this ourselves, but I see a lot of AI in claims, right? I think it's an obvious use case in terms of, can we automate the claims process? Can we make decisions within claims quicker? I mean, there was quite a high profile one in the US where they changed their AI algorithm and stopped paying for health claims. They basically made some tweaks, and it stopped paying out for health claims and tried to make it very difficult to a certain, I think, risk area of customers. To which there was a huge backlash. But I think from a compliance point of view, obviously things like that you have to justify the decision. I think where we are today, it's hard to dig into these obviously large language models and go, well, why did we make this decision? Which is obviously what the regulator is looking at. So I think we're at a kind of point, a difficult point at the moment where people want to use AI, but also from a regulatory point of view, if the regulator comes to you and says, "Oh, you've repudiated this claim, tell us why," and it's based on a large language model, you're going to need someone to dig into that and find the reasons why. And I think that's the bit that insurers potentially are scared of. And so potentially holding back their use of AI. It's not the technology's not there; it's the fact that they're not sure that they can unpick all of that to be able to prove to the regulator that they repudiated a claim in the right way. And that's a specific claims example. I'm sure there's a host of other examples around insurance around that kind of thing.
And you mentioned NLP actually being one of the introductions into what the FintechOS platform offers. Are you seeing, well, maybe not what you're seeing, but what's the next advent that you expect to see by means of coupling some of the benefits that various AI capabilities can introduce and actually see them within your own platform? What's your thoughts there on the whole?
Yeah, so we have a core kind of product team, and their a lot of their focus is data and AI. So we have what we call a data core, which we is now using to start to put large language models over our data core to obviously be able to get more insight from the data. So we see it as something that, because we're building in this core, it will then be able to radiate through our entire architecture. So as I've already said, we're already doing it in the kind of product generation space, but we're also now, for things like quote and buy journeys, you can use the same kind of natural language interface to go, I want a quote and buy journey for my home insurance again, and this and that, and it will create you a quote and buy journey using that as well. And so we see that then radiating out to other areas. Obviously, I've mentioned claims. I think is a very interesting one around AI and automating the claims process, but also underwriting. How much, we have a number of customers who manually review submissions and quotes to come in, but how much of that can be done by AI? So there's multiple different use cases, and we're just starting to, we're at the beginning of our journey, really building out different parts of AI within the architecture for our customers to use.
Yeah, we've had a couple of on the previous sessions. I think actually one with AWS, and they were talking about actually the data strategy being a prerequisite to anything else that
Yeah.
people do. So I suppose the fact that you have this core element that is data and insights, and AI can then be leveraged on top of it in order to maximize the value that can be gathered from that collected data. It seems a wise step.
Well, so look, obviously the customers that I speak to, if they're doing stuff in AI, my one of my first questions will often be, what are you doing about the data? Because if the data's rubbish, the AI models you build off the back of it, large language models, are going to be rubbish as well. So I would hope that most of our customers, they do a kind of data cleansing process. Obviously, if they have a legacy system, getting off the legacy system or doing some kind of separate data program to make sure that their data is good quality before even thinking about, large language models and AI over the top.
So one of my kind of closing questions, and maybe we'll go there. Is actually any learnings that you've had in various conversations that you can pass on. You've already played the data card, so maybe any others that you think hearing as a close.
Well, so I think in with AI specifically, there, well, in any kind of business case, there has to be you have to want to have an outcome and work back from there. So I think people are using AI for the sake of it, when actually automation in some cases is just as effective or potentially nearly as effective for half the cost. So I think where there's use cases that really are real AI use cases, then obviously use that. But where you can get nearly as much value from just automating some processes using modern technology, cloud computing and modern platform, then AI isn't the answer to everything. So I think be very careful where you want to invest with AI, where you can get the most value out of it. Because at the moment, I think a lot of that stuff, a lot of those applications using AI are expensive, and so you don't want to go full throttle everywhere is what I'd say, and really pick the places where you can get the most value.
Good. And last question then, when's your next run?
Well, so the next Run Club is on the 22nd. You really put me on the spot here. I think it's Thursday, the 22nd of April. If that is a Thursday, then it
It's a
is that day.
Tuesday. Yeah, we'll
Okay,
work
so
that
then
out
it's the
afterwards if we're
24th.
right.
The 24th of April, Thursday, the 24th of April, 12:30 from Lloyd's. We've got a new route. So we'll be doing a new route from Lloyd's, still 5K. I'm very much looking forward to it. And we're gonna give out some. We've still got some free t-shirts left. So for anyone who wants to come, get down 24th of April, Lloyd's 12:30, and get yourself a FintechOS t-shirt.
Perfect. Elliot, thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks, Danny.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bye.